Hello everyone, my name is John Borter, and we've been asked to put together kind of an intro video on the capabilities of a Tomahawk. We have some seminars coming up, and we thought this might lay a good foundation, a little groundwork for people to really kind of get a good feel, a good understanding of what the capabilities of a Tomahawk really is. First of all, understand that Tomahawks have been used for thousands of years. They were used by Vikings, Native Americans, Filipino, just every society seems to have some variation or version of a Tomahawk. It's a fantastic tool. It's a fantastic weapon if you need to use it as such, or a tool of self-defense might be a better option, because most of us aren't going to be out there in an aggressive manner seeking those altercations. It has been used for major military deployments, for U.S. military deployments for decades, right? Going all the way back to Vietnam, including Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and a number of other situations that we had to unfortunately step in and be involved in. But so the military definitely understands it as a valuable tool as well. So we thought maybe having a little conversational discussion on really what you can do with this might be helpful. First of all, I think most people think of a Tomahawk as a hacking weapon, right? So I'm long range, I'm whap, whap, this kind of a thing. And you see that in some movies and stuff, and that's understandable because the movements tend to be a little bit bigger for dramatic purposes. And there's also the throwing aspect of it. Axe throwing has been a huge thing these days. It's really picked up. I've been a competitive axe thrower and competitive Tomahawk thrower to a certain extent. But it's not quite the same, all right? So let's talk about this. This, in my definition, is not a Tomahawk. Okay, this is a hatchet. However, when you go to most axe throwing places, they have this or a little bit longer version of it. Tends to have a flat edge, much heavier blade. It's really designed as a really heavy duty kind of tool to use for wood, out in the woods or that kind of a thing. So don't confuse this with a Tomahawk. It tends to have a little shorter handle like this is fine. An axe, which I fortunately don't have with me right now, is going to be a longer thing. That may have a spike on the back. You see it used for firefighters. You see it used for woodsmen, that kind of stuff. But that's usually typically that two-handed kind of a thing. Firefighters can use this to break through doors, hack through locks, that kind of thing, to enter a particular building that may be on fire, that kind of stuff. But axes tend to be a little bit longer, hatchets tend to be more shorter, and with that flat blade or flat back of the blade that I can also use as a pommel or a handle, right? Tomahawks, on the other hand, tend to be a bit lighter, all right? They are a little more maneuverable, kind of thing, and I particularly love it. Let's talk about the parts of the Tomahawk and the functionality for this. First of all, we've got the head. The head is made up of two pieces, the blade and the spike. Not every Tomahawk has a spike, but typically they do, and I'm personally a big fan of that. Then you have the shaft, and then you have what I just call the butt. In Filipino martial arts, they call that the puño, right? But we'll keep it kind of simple. Again, you can hack, all right? You can use that blade to hack through and do big, huge motions. At a little more of a closer range, you can also use that as a slicing tool, almost like using a knife, right? So you can slice as you're a little bit closer range rather than hacking through. The danger a little bit with hacking through is you get caught on a collarbone or a rib. Slicing is more of a surface to mid-surface level type of effect, and it works really well. Don't discount the blade though for control techniques. You can also use it to hook, that kind of a thing, to control and do all kinds of great techniques with that, instead of just hacking, slicing, that kind of stuff. Now the general head can be used a little bit differently too. It's not only is it a great striking tool, it's a great pummeling tool. So if I don't want to necessarily use lethal force, all right, whatever the case may be, I can hit with the side of the head as a striking weapon. I can hit with the butt of the head as a striking weapon. Bam, bam, bam. Maybe I'm using it to fend off an attack or whatever the case may be, where I don't necessarily want to take lethal force. So bang, this kind of thing here. The spike, one of my favorite parts of the Tomahawk. I can definitely use it for hooking, right? I can use it for stabbing or impalement. One thing I did neglect to mention with the blade, I can also use it for impaling. If I'm really close, I can just pop right like through the chest cavity or something like that to get a good thing. But I can do the same thing with the hook. So I can hook, or the spike, hook, I can impale, I can control, I can even slice if I wanted to. It doesn't have to go in deep. I can use it as a slicing tool as well. The handle is brilliant. We think about the handle as holding onto the axe, but What you can also use it for is striking. I can use it for blocking. I can use it to control or to trap or grab, you know, an appendage. It's a fantastic tool as well. The butt, I can use the butt for striking. I can use the butt for poking. I can come downward into the collarbone. There's many things you can do with this. There really is. So as you go into a seminar or go into a any kind of event that's teaching tomahawk fighting, I think the primary focus typically is on slicing or slashing or impaling or hacking. But understand that there's so much more you can do in the tomahawk. There really is. So we'll be covering some of this in our upcoming seminars. So, you know, if you have any questions, reach out. Just understand that this is a fantastic tool that's been used for thousands of years, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Good. Any questions, please reach out. Thank you.